Oh, hello guys. I hope you're doing well. So, today I wanted to do a quick tutorial on how to work with saw waves. Let's say you're getting into sound design and you're trying to make a song, um, and you want to utilize saw waves for whatever reason to make songs. I think saw waves are very versatile, but I do think they can be quite difficult to use. So I'm just going to give you, I don't know, 2 or 3 tips that will really help you with your songs. So one typical issue that you're going to find when you're working with saw waves is firstly choosing a good synthesizer to utilize for saw waves. And what I will say is that if you are going to use something like, for example, Citrus, which you should have if you're working with FL Studio Producer Edition, I'm going to just put it on default here and turn the volume down so it's not going to blow your ears up. So if you're working with sort of like a Citrus or a plugin such as this, probably the most important thing, I'm just cloning these so I have a few of them available to use. What you're going to find is that the saw waves themselves, they don't have any sort of filter applied to it. So let me just go in and throw the saw wave on. This saw wave, I'm going to just decrease the pitch. This saw wave is going to sound very vicious or very bright. And the main reason why is because, again, there's no low pass filter or anything like that. It's just a raw saw wave. And this presents numerous issues when you're trying to make the saw wave sound good. So that's one thing that you need to be aware of. You need to make sure that you're using really a good saw wave synthesizer. And I would say Citrus is definitely one of the worst because it really is just giving you a raw saw wave. And that may not necessarily be good for you, right? That may not be something that you really want to be working with. And there's also another thing to understand about saw waves, which is that if we just go into our filter here, the reason why a saw wave is called a saw wave, in truth, is... Wait, I actually will need to replace this with... let's do Fab Filter. So, one important thing about saw waves is that the reason they're called saw waves is because all of the frequencies that are typically adjacent are very, or usually are very... usually the frequencies are so adjacent to one another that it's actually what's giving the harmonic so much tension, right? So what you really want to be doing when it comes to working with saw waves is you want to be removing the tension so that the sound is cleaner and more to your liking. The issue is not that there is all of these frequencies at the end here. The issue is that all the frequencies at the end, as the frequency increases, are so close together that it creates an audible tension that gives a saw aesthetic to the sound. So one thing that you're gonna have to become familiar with when working with saw waves is, number one, applying a low pass filter, and most synthesizers come with an automatic low pass filter. In the case of Citrus, this is the filter tab, and it's set to maximum on the low. And what we can do is we can basically just enable it for oscillator 1 and output that. And now already it sounds so much better. We can go here. It's going to sound a lot better because a lot of the frequencies are being cut out. But I can guarantee that you can still hear all of that tension, which you may not necessarily want. But I would almost advise against... I mean, you could utilize the harmonic series, which I'll show you now. Let's go here, and we're going to go to our thing here. We'll go to the oscillator tab. And if I am not mistaken, if we convert shape to sine harmonics... Yeah, so what you could do is you could remove a lot of the adjacent frequencies. But, I mean... that requires a lot of patience, because what you would actually have to do is you have to go through all of the saw waves, all of the harmonics. You'd also have to understand the series itself, so it's C, C2, G, blah, 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 because the harmonics are being multiplied by themselves. And you'd have to remove specific harmonics such that it doesn't sound like a square wave. You want to preserve the unique sound of a saw wave without it sounding like this. Because that sound, it's not really the sound you're looking for in a saw wave, right? It's what makes it sort of unique is that it's not based on the odd harmonics, but it's based on all of the harmonics together, and it creates a sound that is rich and even and pleasant to the ear when it's done correctly. And removing the harmonics individually, number one, takes very long, and a square wave is never usually going to be suitable for that. So my suggestion is that if you want that distinct saw wave sound, then rather than removing the harmonics individually to minimize the tension and create a cleaner sound, I suggest that you simply go into something like FabFilter, play the sound like so, play the sound like so, and just find the frequencies that you just don't want. And I've obviously shown this in many videos, but it's still a very important thing. So I don't need an A sharp in my sound. I just don't. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I don't need... I don't need an F sharp. Okay, I don't need an F sharp. And this is what I suggest you do. Just go through the frequencies and find the sounds that you just don't need in it, that you don't need in your saw wave. And a lot of them are going to be at the sort of higher octaves. So G is fine, A is fine, but I don't need an A sharp, right? And you kind of get the idea, right? You just kind of want to go through and just remove a lot of the frequencies that you just don't need. And it can be a little bit time consuming, for sure. And that can be quite frustrating, without a doubt. But usually it's very beneficial because, again, it will make your saw wave sound a lot cleaner, you might say. It will sound a lot cleaner, and there's no F8 there. There it is. It'll sound a lot cleaner, and hopefully a lot more to your preference. And one thing you might want to try and do, this is why I love FabFilter, is that you can just click the actual notes. So we just done F8. Yeah. Let's keep going. There isn't a G, I don't think there's a G8 now. Oh no, there it is. Yep. We're gonna get rid of that one too. And I hope you can hear that we are preserving the unique sound of the saw wave, which is very important. We want the saw, that distinct saw sound, to be preserved. And for the rest of the frequencies, I'm quite happy just to cut them out with a very typical, how do you say, with a very typical low pass. You can just set the order to about 4. And I hope you can hear, but the sound is a lot cleaner now. Not only that, but the filter. What you might be interested in trying is just hearing it effectively without the filter, because you won't need it anymore. You won't need the filter effect, which is very, very nice. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and just fully cut that out. And so the good thing about doing this is you get a cleaner saw wave, so that, let's say you're making a super saw, which would just be a bunch of adjacent frequencies, I guess, or let's just play a D, for example. So when you're making super saws, they should sound a lot better, for sure. And what we can do is we can just compare this sound. It will sound muffled, by the way. Which you can't. You can put a distortion on it, so it sounds a bit less muffled. But we'll compare it to just a normal saw wave and see what the difference is. And we're going to turn down the octave. So this is super bright and brilliant, which is great, but it may not necessarily be what you're going for. And the most important thing is that when you're trying to mix two saw waves together, if you have a saw wave that is as bright as this one, and we look at the harmonic series, the brightness of this saw wave is just going to cut out all of the other synths that you're working with, and it will make the mix sound really horrible. So whilst this sound is a bit muffled, it will fit far better in your sound than this one would. To such a degree that if we said that we want this sound to be up an octave, and we're going to just go ahead and maybe let's say this is a triangle wave, why not? And I want it to be on the filter, and like this. There we go. It's a nice little like a airy sort of sound. You will find, hopefully, that these sounds are not so much cancelling each other out, but they're more well integrated with one another. I hope you can hear that distinct separation, whereas, now hopefully I've done this right, so I don't embarrass myself. So there's that distinct separation between them, such that if I take this extra one and I disable this, and I play these two together now, I hope you can hear that the mix for this in comparison to this is a lot better and clearer. And of course, then all you need to do is apply some effects. So maybe we could go into here. Could just go and put a little bit of vintage on there, really, and then it should be good, hopefully. And then this just needs to have a little bit of ozone imager. Yeah, so that was the main thing I wanted to show you guys. That's how you can sort of mix your saw waves into songs. Yeah, that's one technique. I'm going to show you one more technique that you might find really, really helpful. And I'll show you it right now. So these two sounds are still kind of clashing, but there is a specific reason for that. And that's because the harmonies are both colliding. They're not necessarily colliding in a strict fashion. They're just sort of masking one another in a very subtle way. And so what we can do is we can just have a look at the harmonies. And all you really want to do is you want to open up a filter again, and you want to sort of look at exactly what frequencies each oscillator or each synth is localizing in. So that is this one here is for insert 1, and let's get the filter for insert 2. We'll just open up another one, and we're gonna just go here. So this is occupying a very sort of strict band between, let's say, here to here. Cool. Grab both of them. And so what you want to do is you want to figure out what harmonies you need to mute in insert 1 versus insert 2, so that insert 2, this one, can stand out and deliver the harmonics, whereas insert 1 can deliver the lead sort of sound. So all we're going to do essentially is we're going to turn this one down exactly where this is occupied in. And in our case, it's around here. One more thing I want to do, which is just a high pass. And now they can stand out more because we've basically mixed them together so that they can both deliver what they're trying to deliver without getting in each other's way, essentially. But yeah, that's what I really wanted to show you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and add an attack, because sometimes an attack can make all the difference. But yeah, I hope that sort of helps you mix your saws. I do want to just show you one more thing, actually, before we end the video. And that is, we're going to just go ahead and delete these. We're going to actually just do a new project. And I'm going to be showing you something with GMS. So my recommendation is, if you're working with saw waves especially, GMS is definitely your place to go. 100%. I highly recommend GMS. It's probably one of the best synthesizers that come with FL Studio Producer Edition. So let's just get a default instance of that. And we're going to go ahead and just clone this 3 times again. Oh, that was a mistake. Clone and clone. Brilliant. Maybe I still have... Yeah. Cool. So the one thing we're going to do is I just want these to all be effectively different versions of a saw wave, because these are all just different sort of saw waves essentially. So we'll put this one on, let's see, this one was Fox, Beast, and this one will be Crunch. So the second way you can mix your saw waves is to do band passes. Now I've done videos before with band passes, but it's really useful with saw waves actually. So we basically have 3 different sounds. Right? And they all have a different distinct essence to them. And all you really need to do to mix all 3 of them together is, even though they're all at the same pitch, mind you, is to go to your filter like this, and you're just going to make 3 band passes for 3 different bands. And that's about it. What we can do actually is we can make one of these the bass, and let me see. This is the least bright, so this will be the bass. So I have one of these be the bass. This one will be the... This one will be the middle. So this will be 0, and this one will be the higher sort of pitch. And we may not even need to adjust the volume, the overall pitch of that. We could just remove the bass. Perfect. It sounds super messy right now, but we can fix that. So we got insert 1 open here. Insert 1 is the middle tones. Right, so it shouldn't be occupying the upper range. It would only really be occupying this range. So we just do it like that. And then for your number 2, we only really want this occupying the higher range, right? So we're going to go to our filter, like this, another bandpass, and we're going to say... Perfect. And then finally, the final one is this one. And again, all we're doing is just restricting where the frequencies are being emitted, and it should clean up the mix, hopefully. So we're going to go ahead and come down here and just add in make it a little bit less steep. And all together now. Awesome. So let's listen to with and without, and hopefully you can see that they sound a lot cleaner when you do it like this. So that's without, and this is with. Awesome. And then of course you could go in and go into your little synths here. Just gonna close these so I get a bit organized. Yeah, cool. And then you could just throw in some unison or something. So this would be the middle tone, so we can just throw in maybe like 3 voices of unison, I would say. And this could be pretty wide, but maybe not too wide, like 55 perhaps, something around there, and about 20 detune. And then this one would be the really high pitch, so we'll make it super wide with lots of unison, and we'll keep that about 22. And for the last one, we could have it such that it is maybe only 2 voices of unison, and not too wide, and make sure it's just not too pitchy. Very cool. And yeah, again, we'll just show you with and without again, so you get an idea. So this is with. I can hear the bass, the upper harmonics, and the lower harmonics. Let's hear without. Of course, if that is your vibe, then that's great, but it's very rich. It's a bit too rich for me personally. And one thing I love to do, by the way, is, and you'll see this in my videos, I always love to unroute these and then reroute them to the adjacent mix. So it'll be mix 4. And I usually just like to apply a global filter and just see which harmonics I want to keep and which harmonics I want to remove. to do is I like to muffle it with hardcore. So just go to dynamics, throw in distortion, sorry, throw in a hardcore, and just change this to default, like so. That's pretty cool. I might just want to throw like a chorus on there or something, and that's what I was trying to do. Chorus or reverb, anything really will do the trick. Maybe a space modulator chorus, like a deep chorus, that might work. And then I just want to unroute. And then obviously you can play all kinds of different chords with that, but that is another way you can mix your saw waves, just by using band passes to isolate exactly where you want the saw waves to be contributing to the sound. And you can make some really sweet chord progressions, guys. Like, you could mix this up. You don't have to use this chord progression. This is just some random thing I threw together. Yeah, you can get really imaginative with the chord progressions, and of course, one of the amazing things that you can do is you can make all the chord progressions different. So, I've just been very lazy. I've made all the chord progressions the same, but if you're playing a specific set of chords, you could play them all differently and see what kind of good ones you could get. But yeah, I hope that made sense. It was basically band passes and just also removing the grit from the saw wave with like a fab filter or whatever filter that you can use to remove the adjacent frequencies that are typically what generates the harshness in a saw's tonality, which is typically in the minor registers, A sharp, G sharp. It's just a product of when you multiply a harmonic by itself, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, blah, 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 blah. It's going to inevitably include minor scale notes right next to major scale notes, and it's going to create a little tension, and that tension is what's going to make your sound very harsh and sorry. And but yeah, sometimes you want to preserve the unique sound of a saw wave without sacrificing it and turning it into a square wave. But that's how you can do it. So yeah, that's the two ways I tend to approach saw wave mixing, and I hope that maybe you could you find that useful. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and have a wonderful day.